it's Oa and welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be sharing my 2023 minimalist setup for my new bullet journal. I have 10 different spreads to share with you guys today, so let's get straight into this video, starting with my new journal for this year. This is going to be my YouTube journal, which is different from my main bullet journal, and I'm using a dingbat notebook from the Earth collection, and I have been using those journals for many years now. It is my 4th year using them, and I have a promo code for you guys if you want to get one for yourself for this year. It is OA10 for 10% off on the Dingbat Notebook website. The link is always in the description box. And for my other supplies, I just had them on the screen, and I will have all of them linked down below as well. Before we go any further in this video, I want to apologize if at any point during this video I sound a little bit out of breath. I have been struggling with my lungs a little bit this past couple of weeks, and sometimes I'm really out of breath when I speak a lot, so hopefully it won't be too bad for this video. And also I wanted to remind you guys that as it is 2023, you can still get my 2023 digital planner from my website, and it is undated, so you can start it at any point. Even though the year is already started, it has everything you need to get started and be organized for this year. The first page in this journal is going to be a key page with some of my most recurrent symbols. If you don't know what a key page is, it is basically a way to keep track of all of these symbols that will help you to track your day and organize your life. For example, having a dedicated symbol for task to separate them from events, appointments, or deadlines like I did in mine. But it is something that needs to be very personal, and I would highly suggest you try for a little while different kind of symbols so you can find what will work the best for you personally, because it is something that is very personal. And now I am already moving on to the cover page for this journal, and you will see in a second it does say YouTube journal, because this is the planner that I use to plan all of my videos for this channel and all of my social media stuff, which all of them will be in the description box down below. And I just have everything in it, and when I need to have a video for this channel, I record it in there. It's just a lot easier for me to have it separate from my main bullet journal, which I have a setup on, which is already up on my channel, and I will link it in the little cards if you want to go check that one out. And I did kind of 3 different kind of letterings for this kind of bubble lettering for the 2023. The YouTube is just some simple line calligraphy that is just really long to make it the whole width of the page, and then I used a Tombow dual brush markers to do the calligraphy for the journal part, and then I just outlined with a black pen for a little shadow, just to give it a little bit more of an interesting feel, but it is very simple to make. And we are already moving on to the next page. It is going very fast because I have so many pages to share, but this page is going to be my goals page for this year, and I just have 4 different boxes with all they all have rounded edges. Each box is 11 squares by 15 squares, and in between, in the middle, I have a space for a header, which is 6 squares tall, and in between the two in a row, I have 2 squares in between them, just enough space to add a little drop shadow, which I just did in gray to make it a little bit more interesting, which is extremely simple to do. You just choose 2 sides where you want to add a little bit more color, just like a shadow. And then this is my favorite way to add a header that is very beginner friendly, and it is a simple banner. You just need a rectangle that is slightly angled, so it is kind of round, and then making a rectangle shapes with the arrow pointing towards it to make the flag shape. And you don't need to outline it, just need a marker to make it. So it is very simple. And then I added the title on top, and I actually messed up with the colors for the categories because the header is mint. I wanted to use the yellow for I wanted to do the blue and the yellow for the colors, and in the end it looks fine, but I did mess up on the colors. And then for the categories, I have health, professional, social media, and travel. I just chose random categories as an example because only 2 are really relevant for me. And then we are moving on to the future log. For this future log, I decided to do only 3 months as an example because I will probably not end up using it, but I wanted to share it as an example spread because I think it is a staple in a bullet journal, and I wanted to explain why really quickly. And that is because it allows you to plan way ahead and to have everything in the same place, which I think is really good. The way to make it usually is to have a mini calendar for the month, and then next to it have the events. You can also color code it, which I did when I was in school, which was really practical to do. But for this example, I didn't fill in the calendar since I will probably not be using it. But each section has a header, which is 1 square tall by 6 squares, and then the mini calendar is 7 by 7 squares, and I just have that all down the page. It's a really simple spread to have, but a really useful and basic one, which I love, and it is also really quick to make. As you can see, it takes a little bit longer if you do the full calendar, obviously, but I wanted to spare my hand for the rest of this video. And before I forget to tell you guys, there is a flip through at the end of this video. If you want to see all of the pages all completed and have a better look at them, they will be at the end of this video. And now we can move on to our next page, which is a playlist. What I love about bullet journaling, it is not only a planner, but it is also a great way to keep memories, and I personally love lists of things. So whether it be experiences, memories, or in this case, music that I liked. And I have 1 box for my favorite top song of the month for each month of the year. So this is what you can see that I'm doing here. I have all of the boxes, which are 4 by 10, and there's a 4 wide column in the middle, and then each has a letter next to it for what month it is. I just have the first letter of each month to make it a little bit easier, and also because I didn't have a lot of space. And then at the top I added the header, which is playlist, just simple page, and then I added a play button and the icons that you can see when you play music on your phone, so like the skip ahead and skip back music, just to make it a little bit more fun and make it feel more like actual music related. And I just think it's a really cool spreads to have some memories and be able to look back on things. I think it's fun and it helps to keep it more fun. In the same spirit of having fun things in your bullet journal to start the year, this is a something new to try spread, which is a bunch of different list spreads that you could do for your bullet journal, all condensed into one page to have everything in one place, and it is a lot quicker to set up this way. I just have a really simple title at the top. It is just the lettering, the most simple, and then the lines going down have a additional stroke to it just to make it have a little bit more dimension. And then underneath it I have 3 boxes. The first one is 12 by 15 squares for new recipes to try. And then I have 2 boxes that are the same on the side, which are 12 by 7 with 1 square in between each. And those are new places, so either to go to or that you want to try. So for example, like restaurants or anything like that. And then activities. If you want to start knitting this year, then this is the right place to put it, so you can remind yourself of what you want to do, and it is kind of keeping you accountable for the idea that you had. And then underneath all of that, I have a section for movies or series. We all know that we have some shows or movies that someone tells us about and we want to watch it, and then when we remember that we had one to watch, we don't know what to watch because we have forgotten the name of that movie. So this is why I have this type of spread. Or it could be as a memory of your favorite movies or series for this year. It could be both ways, but I think it is a good thing to have a place to write down that kind of thing. Next we have a little bit more of a functional spread for your everyday life, which is a to-do routine list for every task that you do on a regular basis and you don't want to schedule it every week or every other week in your weekly spreads, or you don't want to have to think about planning them ahead. You can have all of them at the same place. I got this idea from someone else on YouTube, so if I remember it, I will put it on the screen for you guys. I just need to go back and find that channel, but I thought it was a really good idea and I just made it my own version of it. So I have 6 categories, so 2 columns, and the categories I chose are for daily to-dos. So any activities like maybe make your bed or walk the dog, or do the dishes or anything like that that you want to do daily. Then you have every other day twice a week, so maybe vacuum twice a week, maybe once a week change the sheets, do the laundry, every 2 weeks, and then once a month. So if there's any activities that you do every month, so you don't have to remind yourself that you do it every month, you can just look back on this spread and see everything that you want to do. It's just something I wanted to experiment with, so this is why I am sharing it, and I think it might help someone else's out because I was blown away by that idea when I found it. Moving on, we have a daily routine page, kind of going off with the page next to it. They go together really well. And this one is one that I created for myself, but I wanted to share it because I think it can be useful for someone else and that maybe someone will benefit from this idea. So I think it's very important that I share this one. And this is basically a all-in-one for all of your routines of everything you want to do on your ideal day, let's say. But what makes this one different from any other one? First, I have 3 categories, which are morning routine, night routine, and self-care routine, which is very important. And then in each section, I have 3 different ones, which are low energy, medium energy, and high energy. And the way I see it is that every day, so let's see, you do every day for what you have for the low energy, and then if you have, I wrote normal energy, but it's the same. You do what's in low energy plus the next category. I don't know if this makes any sense, but it does in my head, and maybe if you can see it on the video, it will make a lot more sense. And basically each category has a little bit more space. The page is separated into 3, and each section is 12 squares tall. And then in each, the low energy has 3 squares, the normal energy has 4, and then the high energy has 5. So each has more space because you have more energy to write things down. I am personally very excited to use this one because I think it is going to be life-changing, and also it is a lot easier to have a game plan when you wake up or you don't feel well and you just don't know what to do because you don't have the energy to do what you want to do. So it is just as a guideline to help you navigate your day around. If you didn't know this, I live with multiple chronic illnesses, so I usually don't have the same energy level every day. So this is why I am sharing this in hopes that I can help someone else. And we are now onto our second to last page, which is a expense tracker, and it is part of my 2-page finance pages for this setup. And this expense tracker is extremely quick to set up, and if you want to skip a few steps that I did to make it even easier, it is totally possible. The way I made it is by having the mint color go across the page. It is 1 square thick, and then I divided that into 5 different columns. The first one is 4 squares wide, and then we have one that is 12 squares wide for the description, and then 5 square wide for the category, and then 2 squares for if it's a negative or a positive, and then the last 4 are for the amount that was spent or earned. And what I like about this one is that you basically have everything all at once, and you can also have as many as you need to fill up either for the entire year or have one for every month depending on what you need, or if you only track specific expenses. And it can easily be rearranged and the categories, or the sections I should say, changed. And then to make the spread a little bit more appealing, I just have gray lines, and I did one and then skipped one just to highlight every other one to make it easier to read, also for the eyes, to have a separation between each line. And then I just have a simple header, which is just expense tracker, and we can move on to our very last part of this video, which is a savings tracker. And this one is pretty self-explanatory. It is to track your savings goals. If you have a specific amount that you want to save, either for the entire year, for a specific project that you have in mind, for something you want to buy, or anything like that. And I separate the page into two to show two ways that this one can be used. The first half is to have more like individual goals. So for example, I have the first one is just one line, which is 1 square thick, and then every 2 squares I have a line to separate it, to have and then color it in every time you reach a certain amount, and it is to track, for example, if you have a specific thing you want to buy and you don't need to track that much, but you have many things, or you can just have like big amounts and just have it towards if you have multiple savings account, or saving for a car, a house, or multiple things. And then the second one is more a yearly goals, and you just have 6 columns. You can make them as tall as you want, but I made them too thick, and then you can just have increments and amounts as you want. And this is basically all for this video. I just have the flip through left at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my other 2023 setup in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. I always love to read them. And also follow me on all of my socials, because I post mostly daily on there. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!